If your ex won't take you seriously, if they tell you it's over, or if they've even blocked you from contacting them, well, you probably think there's no hope of ever seeing them again, much less getting back together. But what if I told you that you can actually make your ex beg for another chance? And that is what this video is going to be all about. By just making a few changes to your own behavior, you can transform your ex's perception of you and make them attracted to you again like they were back in the beginning. I'm Brad Browning, breakup coach and author of the best-selling X Factor program. And over the past 15 years, I've helped literally tens of thousands of clients from around the world get a second chance with their ex. So if that's what you're after, you're in the right place. Now, let's talk about how we can actually make this happen. Well, first off, I'm going to give you the advice that I give all my clients at this stage, which is just take a breath. I know you've been through a lot lately and that you're not in a great place emotionally. I mean, who would be, right? Breakups are definitely one of the most difficult parts of life. In fact, as far as your brain is concerned, they're almost on the same level as losing a loved one. But on top of that, you're dealing with the mental blow that somebody who you love, who you trust, and who you want to spend your life with has chosen to walk away from you. You know, being rejected hurts, especially when it's by somebody who really knows you. I'm not trying to rub salt in the wound. I'm trying to say that you're justified to feel really, really bad right now. So, don't let anyone tell you to just smile and get over it. But that being said, you do need to try to manage your emotions, because if you don't, then they're going to drive your behavior. Out of control emotions like shame, regret, despair, anger, they can lead you to do really destructive things like lash out at those closest to you, including your ex. They can make you beg and plead for another chance, or they can make you debase yourself. And this is really what we're trying to avoid right now, because it of course is going to seriously impact your chances of getting them back. You don't want to be looking back at this in 2 or 3 months and realize that you pushed your ex away because you weren't able to get your own emotions under control. So really, that's why you just need to take a second and just breathe. You're not in any immediate danger. Your ex isn't going to go anywhere if you don't fix this right this instant. And you will have a chance to win them back, but only if you're able to slow down and act intentionally rather than giving in to your emotions. That's why often the best move is to actually face your emotions head on rather than hiding from them. Because chasing after your ex is actually just another way of distracting yourself from how you feel. And if you're using your ex as a distraction from your feelings, then you've really lost focus on your true goal. So take some time to just sit in silence and process your feelings. And honestly, writing them down can actually be really helpful. Just getting those emotions out of your head will show you that the world isn't ending. You're just sad and you will be happy again with time. And really, time is going to be your best friend if you want your ex back. Now, I know that's not what you want to hear, because it feels like another day, another minute, another second without your ex is going to be too much to bear. You want your ex back right now, and you won't be happy until that moment comes when they're back in your arms again. And on top of that, you think that the more time passes, the less chance you have with your ex. That they're going to move on and just forget about you. That they're going to find somebody new who's better than you in every way, and you're just going to be in their rearview mirror for the rest of time. And you are right. That is what will happen eventually, if you keep your current approach. But if you take my advice, then this time will help bring your ex back to you. Not today, probably not this week, maybe not even this month, but you will get them back soon, and you'll get them back for good. No more of the wishy-washy back and forth stuff. You'll be able to create a better relationship than you had before. And really, the first step here is to address your current approach. I'm guessing that you've probably been spending time with your ex. Maybe you've been messaging them, or worse, you've been reaching out to them and not getting any response. And that obviously hasn't gotten you anywhere, so you've pushed even harder and found them pulling away even more. And that's not because there's no hope. It's because of the dynamic that you've created with your ex. And right now, this dynamic is one of the main things that's keeping you apart. And this is something that happens in most breakups. Breaking up destroys the trust between the two of you, the trust that you've built together, which means that you and your ex no longer feel comfortable even having a conversation. So when you do talk, you're desperate to recreate that old dynamic that you once had. You talk to them in the same way you did when you were still together. Maybe you almost pretend that the breakup didn't happen and do your best just to have a normal conversation. And not just you, probably your ex is doing this too, because it's a natural response. But it all feels wrong because you both know that things right now are anything but normal. So this disconnect between how you're acting and reality just further intensifies the discomfort you feel. And maintain this for long enough, and it changes how your ex sees you. They used to associate you with safety, security, fun, and affection. And now they associate you with this weird feeling in the pit of their stomach that things are just off. And this is, of course, assuming that you're just having normal conversations. Because typically, your conversations may be full of, conflict, begging, and potentially miscommunications, which really only serves to amplify these negative feelings in your ex. So you want to put an end to this starting now. From this point forward, you don't reach out to your ex without a solid plan in advance. And in fact, from here, you really don't communicate with your ex at all, at least for a period of time. Now, this is going to get you back on the right track with your ex following a breakup because it eliminates all these weird and messy interactions that are causing you and your ex to disconnect. But, isn't some contact with your ex, however unsatisfying it might be, better than nothing? Isn't your ex just going to forget about you when you're not contacting them in any way? Well, actually, no. I promise you, they won't just forget about you. In fact, studies have shown that with this kind of interpersonal conflict, we tend to lose the negative feelings and associations much faster than the positive ones. And that actually makes sense if you think about it. I mean, how many interactions have you had with your ex? I'm guessing you've spent a lot of time together building positive and fun memories. Sure, you probably had some fights and disagreements, and of course the breakup was a huge negative moment for the both of you. But even so, the good far outweighs the bad as far as your ex's memory of you goes. If they didn't, then you wouldn't have stayed together as long as you did. Something was keeping the two of you together, and it was the good that the two of you saw in each other. So during your time apart, all these bad things are going to start to fade into memory. And your ex is going to remember the good far more than the bad, and that's going to start to repair the image that they have in you in the back of their mind. So really, you can improve the way your ex sees you by purposefully doing nothing at all. You just have to stay away, give them a chance to cool off, and actually start missing you. Now, that doesn't mean that you should actually be doing nothing during the time apart from your ex, because you do need to spend this time productively. This is going to create momentum that's going to attract your ex towards you even more, because you really have two options here. You can either spend this time apart from your ex just waiting for them to come back, obsessing over the relationship, worrying about the future, and effectively sinking into depression. And then when your ex does reach out, which they almost always do, they're going to find you worse off than you were when they last saw you. Now, I don't want to be cruel, but someone who has just emerged from a cocoon of sadness is always going to be less attractive than somebody who is actively working on improving themselves. Or the other option is you can start to move past these feelings and actually take action to improve your life. And if you want to take this path, you really need to start today. I mean, I know it's a cliche, but it's so common that people say, tomorrow, next week, next month, that's when I'm finally going to get it together. And then find, that when the time does come, you're still not ready and you keep pushing it back until a more ideal time that never comes. So that's why I recommend you get it going as soon as this video is over. Obviously, you don't need to run a marathon today, but you need to take the first step into improving your situation. So maybe that looks like setting some goals and making a plan for how you're actually going to achieve them. Maybe just going for a walk or calling a friend. It really doesn't need to be groundbreaking. It just needs to be some kind of progress. Now, I realize this may sound like basic self-help bullshit, but trust me when I say if you don't make some significant moves now, you are probably going to lose your ex. So use that as your motivation to better your life and yourself in whatever way you can. And another thing you can do right now to improve your chances with your ex is just to get some more info. And that's why I recommend going to breakupbrad.com/quiz right now and take my free 5-minute quiz. Like I said, it's completely free, it's very quick, and it's going to give you a much better idea of where you actually stand with your ex right now. Again, you can take it right now at breakupbrad.com/quiz. So these are the next steps you need to take right now if you're serious about winning back your ex. First of all, cut contact with them. And don't tell them that you're not going to speak to them or have some big dramatic conversation or anything. Just stop reaching out to them and stop replying to them unless it's really truly necessary. And then pledge to maintain that silence for at least a month from this point. I realize it is going to be tough, but it's going to be worth it when your ex comes crawling back to you after they start missing you like crazy. And secondly, use all the extra time you have now to get out of the rut that you're stuck in and start improving your life. Again, I know, easier said than done, but it really is your only path forward here. Don't believe people who tell you that you need to run to your ex with some big romantic declaration of your love or to just be honest about your feelings and they'll come back to you. Really, I'd love it if that actually worked. It's certainly romantic when you see it in movies. But as somebody who's helped more people than I can count with a specific problem, that kind of thing is just not effective and will really only scare your ex away. So instead, stick to no contact and watch as your exes inevitably drawn back to you. Now, if you want to know more about no contact, I'm going to link a longer video up here in the corner and in the description below that outlines exactly why it works so effectively and how to make it happen for you. But for now, that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you take my advice and you start to repair your relationship with your ex today. And of course, if you're looking for more tips and tricks on dealing with your ex, please click subscribe and watch a few of my other videos in the sidebar below as well. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time right here.